Wagwan, everybody. Welcome to our next episode of Talk the Things podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about a story coming out of Scarborough once again. Like I said, we're going to only be doing Scarborough cases this week, but this story happened a while ago. This happened back in 1998, but we're going to go before that to 1992 when a man moved from Kingston to Scarborough and he lived with his wife named Mincy. And I believe they lived in the Glamorgan area. And you're going to hear why I believe that a little more in the podcast because we can't be too sure. Now he had two youths, one named Randall and the other one we're gonna call Ty, but they still lived in Jamaica. He never came up to Canada with them. But after about 5 years when he got settled in Canada and got his papers and stuff, the man and Mincy wound up sending for the two youths them. So like I said now, in November of 1997, they came to Canada. They went to Glamorgan Public School, and that's why I believe that they lived in the Glamorgan area because Scarborough schools are closed schools. Most schools in Toronto are closed. If you don't live in that area, you can't go there. So they must have lived in Glamorgan if that's the school they went to. But after a couple weeks of them living in Canada, the father wound up going to the US. Now the man went there for alleged reasons. People don't really know what he went there for. There's a few things that they say, but the man was in the US for a while, leaving the two youths in the care of Mincy, the stepmom. But while they were going to school and stuff, a few of the students and a couple teachers realized that he was looking very thin. He was looking very battered, very bruised. He was looking like he was getting abused at home. So the principal on April 14th of 1998 called children aid just because how bad he was looking. The principal was worried. But little did the principal know that 5 months later, the man was going to die. So on September 25th of 1998, the father, oh, by the way, he came back to Canada now and he was there for the last 4 months of Randall's life. So he was in the US for however long. I think he was in Canada for 11 months. So out of the 11 months, he was only there for the last 4 months of his life. But on September 25th of 1998, he made a phone call to 911 to report that his son offed himself. Now you can imagine how that would spark curiosity for somebody that's so young. So of course authority and stuff ran over there, and when they did the autopsy and they the whole programming and stuff they do after, especially when a youth dies, it was horrifying what they wind up finding. And I'm going to read you guys what the autopsy said now. It said that the youth had 13 fractured ribs, 4 brain injuries, a brain bleed, pneumonia. He was 41 pounds. He had 80 scratch and bruise all over his body. He had a lacerated liver and a tooth was in his stomach. Turns out this whole time, that bitch Mincy was, she was like, I don't even know what to say. She was torturing the youth, absolute abusing the man. And the reason why I'm saying the man and the youth is because you know how YouTube stays. So even though you know who we're talking about, I'm gonna be saying like the man, the youth, or just his name, Randall. She was abusing Randall so bad. She stomped on him, slap him, punch him, kick him, beat him with a belt, whip him with a bungee cord. She even made him eat his own vomit and dunked him in a bucket of ice or a tub of ice the night before he died. The cause of death was originally from the police and the autopsy and stuff said was from her shaking him so hard that he suffered a brain bleed. And you're going to hear a story now that I'm going to tell you from his brother. Remember the brother he came up with? And this is where they found out that he never made it. So after the brother seeing all the abuse that happened to him and him in the bathtub, his body, he was just unconscious. So what happened was his bro took him out of the bathtub, dried him off, took off the wet pajamas, put on clean pajamas, put him in the bed with him, and they went to sleep. But only the brother woke up the next morning. After they called 911, remember, like I said, it was the dad who called 911 to report whatever with his son. And they went into questioning. They realized something was off from one, the autopsy, but the story wasn't making sense because Minty told the police that the youth dropped off of the bed, which could have never been true because the dad said whatever. Now you're saying that he dropped off of the bed, but we know the injuries. Then they started both blaming each other. He said she did it. She said he did it. But they both wound up getting charged with second-degree murder and got sentenced to life back in 2002. Now, the funeral for this was a huge funeral. Schools came out. They held hands. They sung songs. They went to the graveyards. I'm going to play you guys a video of that I found from an archive. And this is way back in 1998. So you guys see this and I'll be right back.
I've been cold there in my shadow. Light on your face.
In the cemetery that is the final resting place of both Randall Dooley and Alexis Curry, the voices of children echoed in song today. The students of Pauline Johnson Junior School and Glamorgan Junior School, where Randall Dooley attended, along with dozens of others, were here to take part in the first annual Randall Dooley Day for Heroes.
One day, in grade 1, I fell down, and Randall was the only person who came up to me and asked me if I was all right.
They were here to remember, but equally important, they were here to help send a message. All adults, not just the authorities, must do everything in their power to put an end to child abuse.
See, you guys just seen that. And my mom went to that funeral, and she said that the funeral was huge. Her and her stepmom went, and the whole of Lawrence, the entire Lawrence Road came out to this funeral because it was a big story, especially in the Jamaican community, to hear that these youths came up from Jamaica to get better life and was getting treated the way they did. You know what I mean? But the next reason why I wanted to talk about this story was because it really came up in the news. And what came up in the news was that the stepmom, Mincy, wound up getting parole just the other day. She got day parole for 6 months. And I believe that day parole means you're outside in the day and then you have to go back to prison at night. They're trying to rehabilitate her back for regular life on the outside. And the dad got full parole, so he's out and about. I want to play you guys a news clip so you guys can hear that, and I'll be right back.
Lee Randall's father were convicted of second-degree murder in 2002. Now, 2 years old, has been granted day parole with conditions. It was a case that to this day even haunts the investigators who were in charge.
When we got into the full investigation of what Randall coming to this country for a better life and then being here for less than a year and what he went through and suffered, it took a toll on everybody.
6 months of day parole with conditions that she continues psychological counseling, report any relationship she becomes involved in, abstain from having contact with children under the age of 16, and she is not allowed to have any contact with Randall's family.
So you guys just heard that. And if you were wondering what happened to the little bro, well, he wasn't little. He was older than him. The one that passed Randall. He moved back to Jamaica. And I believe he's still there to this day. And I can just imagine how traumatized he is from this, having to have brought your little bro from out the, you know what I mean? And then bro, I don't even like to repeat what happened. We already heard. I'm done saying it because this case was so hard to cover. Hearing these things, I have so much sibling, and I couldn't even imagine. I just couldn't even imagine that. But and now he's older and can look back and do his research and really see what happened and to see the wickedness that took place. And I'm sure he's seen it with his own 2 eyes, so he already know. That's something that you can't forget. But my final thoughts on the situation is just people are so wicked. There was nothing that could have caused this. You know what I mean? Nothing that could have caused this. Hold on, I'm coming. And it's just like you I don't even want to say you had mental illness because you knew what you were doing. To plan out these things, to fill up bathtub with ice. That means you had the intention, you know what I mean? And it turns out the dad was just watching this go down the whole time and never stopped it, never cared. And even lied to protect his wife when time came and police had to get called. They're making bullshit story. So this just comes to show these stepmoms sometimes, bro, they're wicked. But you guys let me know what you think about this situation. I don't even have much words on this. I'm just turned off by this case, bro. But you guys let me know what you think about this situation, and you don't know. Till next time on Talk the Things podcast.